Welcome to December Stargazing Guide for Tropical South. If you are living in the Tropical South or visiting the Southern Hemisphere savannas, this is your practical December Stargazing Guide to the night skies. In this video, we'll use illustrations obtained from Stellarium app, which you can also access on the internet through this address. The illustrations show the sky as it appears around 6 degrees south of equator, mid-December, from 9 to 10 p.m. This guide is intended to serve viewers in urban areas where light pollution is high, as well as remote areas where light pollution is low. To facilitate this, we'll start by identifying bright objects and then use those objects to find dimmer objects. With this star hopping approach, you do not need to wait until you get a chance to visit dark sky areas because such a chance may be hard to come by. In addition, observing the sky in your light-polluted neighborhood is a good way to prepare the objects to look for when you get a chance to visit dark sky area. If you are in urban area, just find the darkest spot you can, preferably where there are no direct lights, for better viewing. The main constellation chosen for December in this episode is Orion the Hunter, which is at the time and date of this guide found in the eastern sky. In the course of finding Orion, we will also see 6 more constellations, namely Taurus, Auriga, Gemini, Canis Major, Canis Minor, and Lepus. We'll also locate other objects in the eastern sky, including asterisms Winter Triangle, Winter Hexagon, and the Winter G, and several stars. In the southern sky, we'll see constellations Phoenix, Grus, Tucana, and Dorado. We'll also see the large Magellanic Cloud galaxy. In the northern sky, we'll see the great square of Pegasus asterism and the constellations Andromeda, Cassiopeia, Pegasus, Triangulum, and Aries. Towards the end, we'll look at the position of the planet Saturn in December 2025 in the western sky and Jupiter in the eastern sky. Let us begin with finding Orion in the eastern sky. Turning to the eastern sky, the end of the year show of bright stars is coming up. In front of you, somewhere between the horizon and overhead, find the 3 stars lined up to form the Orion's belt asterism here. To the left are bright stars forming the shoulders of Orion the Hunter here. And to the right are the bright stars forming the knees of the Hunter here. The star at the bottom left here looks reddish. It is a red supergiant Betelgeuse, which is the 10th brightest star in the night sky. It is estimated to be around 650 light years away and thought to be nearing the end of its life in a spectacular supernova. It is so large, if it was placed where our sun is, it would extend beyond the orbit of Jupiter. The star at the top left here is Bellatrix. It is a blue giant located about 250 light years away. To the right top here is Rigel, a blue supergiant located about 848 light years away and the 7th brightest star in the night sky. And at the bottom right here is the star Saiph, a blue-white supergiant about 650 light years away. Together, these stars and other less visible stars for urban viewers form the Orion constellation, which looks like this. From Orion to the left, in the northeastern sky, you will see a very bright star here. This is Capella, the 6th brightest star in the night sky. Capella is a system of 3 stars located relatively close, about 43 light years away, and is in the constellation Auriga. In the neighborhood of Capella are 5 fairly visible stars that can be connected to form a shape of the constellation Auriga, the charioteer, looking like this. Between Auriga and Orion, up here, is the bright reddish star called Aldebaran. Aldebaran is a red giant located about 65 light years away. It is the brightest star in the constellation Taurus, also referred to as the Eye of the Bull. The constellation Taurus looks like this. At the end of the projecting line from Aldebaran here is Pleiades, also known as the 7 Sisters. In most places, Pleiades appears as a fuzzy patch of brightness to naked eye with few distinguishable stars. It is an open cluster located about 444 light years away, containing more than 1,000 stars. To the right of Orion is the constellation Lepus, the Hare, looking like this. Below Lepus here is Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. Sirius, also known as the dog star, is among the closest star, only 8.6 light years away. To the left downward direction here is another very bright star called Procyon, also among the closest stars, only 11.5 light years away. Sirius and Procyon are both binary stars. Sirius is in the constellation Canis Major, the greater dog, which looks like this, while Procyon is in the constellation Canis Minor, the lesser dog, which looks like this. Sirius, Betelgeuse, and Procyon form the asterism Winter Triangle, looking like this. To the left downward side of Procyon, you can see a pair of stars looking like this. The one on the right is Pollux, and the other is Castor. These are the heads of the twins that form the constellation Gemini, which looks like this. While we are still in the eastern sky, let us talk about the winter hexagon asterism. This is formed by a pattern that touches Sirius, Procyon, Pollux, Capella, Aldebaran, Rigel, and then back to Sirius. It is a very large asterism running from east to northeast at the time and date of this guide. Along the tropics, I prefer to view objects related to this asterism in the east or west because it passes overhead, where it becomes a little bit uncomfortable to watch. The winter hexagon is sometimes altered to form the winter G by turning part of its lines to touch Betelgeuse like this or like this. Turning south, between the horizon and overhead, find two distinctly bright stars, one on the left or southeastern sky and another on the right. The left one, which is brighter than the other, is Canopus, the second brightest star in the night sky. The other is Achernar, the ninth brightest star in the night sky. Canopus is in the constellation Carina, the keel of the ship, while Achernar is in the constellation Eridanus, the river. To learn more about these stars, please watch my November video. From Achernar, in the right downward direction, you can see a pair of stars looking like this. The one to the left, which appears reddish, is called the Tyche, while the other, that appears whitish, is called the Achernar. Both stars are in the constellation Grus, the crane, which looks like this. Extending the line connecting Achernar and Tyche in the up leftward direction like this, you will find another visibly bright star here. This star is called the Anchor, and it is the brightest star in the constellation Phoenix, the mystical bird, which looks like this. Above Grus up here is a distinctly bright star called the Fomalhaut, which is in the constellation Piscis Australis, the southern fish. To the left downward side of Grus is a smaller constellation Tucana here. Phoenix, Grus, and Tucana are 3 out of the 4 southern birds. The fourth one, Pavo, the peacock, is below horizon at the date and time of this guide. You can learn more about the 4 southern birds in my October video. About 1/3 of the distance from Canopus to Achernar is the constellation Dorado, the dolphin fish elsewhere referred to as swordfish. The stars forming the constellation Dorado are very faint, but it looks like this. The tail of the fish is pointing at the large Magellanic Cloud here, which you might be able to see if you are in the dark sky area. The Large Magellanic Cloud is a satellite galaxy of our home galaxy, the Milky Way, about 160,000 light years away. In the November video, I talked about the scarcity of common asterisms in the southern sky compared to other parts of the sky and shared my personal star pattern that I used to fill the gap. The point is to get a pattern of stars bright enough to be seen from the backyard of your house in a city that you can use as a stage to hop to other objects. I talked about a pattern that gives an antenna shape. At the date and time of this video, one of the stars forming that shape has set, and the remaining stars form a distinct right angle shape. These are Achernar, Tyche, Altair, and Fomalhaut, which gives a right-angled shape looking like this. Another shape that is up in December at the time and date of this guide is a very long line of bright stars that begins in the east and ends in the southwest. It connects 4 very bright stars, namely Sirius, Canopus, Achernar, and Fomalhaut, giving a shape of a big J. Turning to the northern sky, Look at the northwestern part of the sky to find 4 stars of nearly similar brightness, forming a distinct square shape that looks like this. This is the great square of Pegasus asterism. At the right end of the square and in the right downward direction, we can draw a line to connect with other 3 stars like this. At the middle of the extension we have just made, there are 2 dimmer stars that we can connect to get a T shape like this. That is the constellation Andromeda, the princess. At the bottom of the T shape here is the Andromeda galaxy, our closest galactic neighbor, about 2.5 million light years away. Down below Andromeda is the M-shaped constellation Cassiopeia, the queen, here. Above Andromeda are 2 small constellations, Triangulum and Aries, the first zodiac constellation, here. To the right of Andromeda is the constellation Perseus, the hero. In the northeast we can see the constellation Auriga here and Taurus here. If you are a stargazer from the north, you might have noted that the constellations we have just seen in the northern sky look upside down. This is because as you travel south, the sky above you rotates northwards. So some of the objects visible in the southern sky from the northern hemisphere move to the northern sky when you get to the southern hemisphere. Such objects appear to be inverted, upside down and right side left, to stargazers from the north. Each of the objects we have talked about from the beginning to this point remains at fairly the same position in the middle of December around 9 to 10 p.m., 6 degrees south of equator. This is because stars and galaxies are so far away, they do not seem to move at all in our lifetime. Planets, on the other hand, keep changing their position relative to other objects, which is the reason they were considered to be wanderers. In December 2025, 2 planets are visible at the date and time of this guide. Saturn is in the western sky and Jupiter in the eastern sky. To see the planet Saturn in December 2025, turn west and find a yellowish, steadily shining object between horizon and overhead here. This planet has resumed its prograde motion, so if you observe it day by day, you will realize that it is moving eastwards against the background stars. To confirm that you're looking at Saturn, you should be able to see the great square of Pegasus to your right here. To find Jupiter, at the time and date of this guide, turn east and look for the brightest object on your left here. That is Jupiter, which is in the constellation Gemini. Observing Jupiter day by day will also manifest an eastward motion against the background object, like that of Saturn. That brings us to the end of our stargazing guide in the tropical south for December. It is my hope that you have found it helpful. If so, please like. I will also appreciate your comments. Thank you for watching.